Hello and welcome back to the Elite Takeover podcast, where today we will be looking at AEW Revolution 2021. As always, I am your host, Aiden, joined by
Raph.
And before we get going, make sure to give us a subscribe, a like, a comment, let us know what your favourite match at Revolution was if you're watching on the YouTube. And of course, if you're watching on any of the major podcast apps we are on, listening, can't watch it, it's a podcast app. But make sure to give us a 5-star review, download the podcast and subscribe. Really helps us. And of course, we are here for major pay-per-view major pay-per-view reviews, all WWE and NXT and AEW pay-per-view reviews the day after, and weekly wrestling news and reviews. And of course, we're coming up on a busy old time with WrestleMania coming up, so make sure to stick around for that.
That's going to be a week.
It's going to be a week, especially with apparently they're doing a 2-day takeover now as well. And
oh, goodness.
Anyway, it's a whole thing. It's not what we're here for. We're here for AEW, though.
Yeah.
What did you think overall, generally, about AEW Revolution?
It was a really good pay-per-view. I was really happy with it. I was pretty happy with it. There might have been like one or two matches that kind of like not let me down, but weren't as great. But most of them, I was really invested in it.
Yeah, I enjoyed the show. I had no issue with the show. I think it wasn't their best pay-per-view.
No. But I enjoyed it.
But I enjoyed it. It kept me entertained. So that's kind of all you can ask for, really.
Yeah.
Strangely enough, I would say the show started off really good. Went kind of very middle of the ground in the middle, and then went all the way back up until it then pooped its pants at the end. We started off with the pre-show. The buy-in. It's not the pre-show, it's the buy-in. Britt Baker and Reba/Rebel versus Thunder Rosa and Riho. Britt Baker comes out saying that she has a doctor's note for Reba, but Tony Khan wasn't interested in her doctor's note because it was from Britt Baker. And she's like, well, I am a doctor, so
I am DMD.
I am DMD. So she had to go all the way to go towards the Jaguars doctor, apparently. And Reba's not able to compete. She's been proven not able to compete. So she has a new partner for tonight, and that partner is Maki Ito. Who's great.
She was so good.
She was a star on this.
Yeah.
This match was so much fun. It's kind of a shame.
Yeah, it was.
It's a shame this wasn't actually on the show itself.
Yeah.
This was so much fun. I understand why, and it was really good for the buy-in.
Yeah.
And it was nice to see these guys turn up on the show later on, as we'll talk about in a bit. But really, really fun match. Lots of showing off, lots of focus on Maki Ito.
Lots of pulling fingers at other people.
Yeah, lots of putting your middle fingers up, obviously. Her going for the headbutt where she literally just drops dead.
Yes,
with the headbutt.
on the floor.
There's a really nice spot where Riho was trying to run in with a running knee, and then Maki Ito rolled through it into the submission.
Yes,
which was really awesome.
Yeah,
it was a really fun match. She has
so much personality. Yeah. So much personality. She's incredible.
Yeah, it's kind of.
I understand the hype now that I've watched her playing,
completely
doing a whole match.
Yeah, it's like you look at her and she has such a there's such a universal language to what she does.
Yeah,
that it doesn't matter that she's not an English fluent speaker. It doesn't matter in the slightest.
Yeah,
it completely just works, her in-ring personality.
Yeah,
and you compare her to someone like Riho on the other side of the ring. And having Maki Ito in there just really shows the lack of personality that Riho has.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm ever since she's come back, I've really soured on Riho.
Yeah. Yeah, she's just not.
Well, I wasn't necessarily the biggest fan of her before, but I was more of a fan of her.
She was better last night.
Yes.
She was better at the pay-per-view.
She seemed like she had a genuine smile instead of her fake smiles. A little bit. But yeah, really fun stuff. The ending of the match came with Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker, of course, continuing the feud between those two, which should definitely just keep on going. Ends with Reba using her crutch to hit Thunder Rosa, knocking her out cold, while the referee was distracted, allowing Britt Baker to pick up the victory, again due to Reba's interference and Thunder Rosa being knocked out cold.
Yeah.
Essentially the same finish as the last time, just without the submission this time. But it was a super, super fun match. Gave it a lot of time.
Yeah.
Really showed off Maki Ito. She was the star of this.
Yeah, she was.
And I really hope she gets more stuff in the future once we're out of this weird pandemic that we're in. But on to the main show. The main show kicked off with the AEW World Tag Team Championship match. MJF and Jericho versus the Young Bucks.
It was a really good match. It got better as it went along. But yeah, it was a fun match. It was very long.
I'm trying to think whether this was my favourite match. Like, in terms of actual in-ring.
Okay.
Like, because I think my favourite thing was Sting and Darby stuff. I really enjoyed that cinematic match. I think in ring, this is probably my favourite match of the night.
Fair. I think my favourite match was the Casino Battle Royale. I know, but I really liked it.
No, that was messy.
It was messy.
It was messy. It was fun, but it was messy.
Yeah, probably this one. Because, yeah.
And so pretty much the Young Bucks kind of kept bringing Jericho and MJF up to their speed. So that's what kind of what we were wondering beforehand, is how this is going to go in terms of the clashing styles. But the Young Bucks just essentially forced MJF and Jericho up to being up to the speed of the Young Bucks.
Yeah. There was a lot of like synchronized moves and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, it was really fun.
It's very, like, if you don't like a Young Bucks match, you're not going to like this match. It's a very typical Young Bucks match.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a lot of fun.
So good.
A lot of chemistry in between all of these guys. The ending came with MJF eating about 10, 15 super kicks.
Yes.
Drool coming out of his mouth. And then Jericho being caught into the Meltzer driver for the 1, 2, 3. There's some really nice stuff, and there's lots of interference, and there's some Wardlow on the outside.
Yeah.
Kept getting involved, lots of cheap shots from MJF and Wardlow and Jericho.
Trying to distract the breath and stuff, but
yeah,
like the Young Bucks always managing to
managing to get back and managing to get back into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really enjoyed the match. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
and
it was.
Young Bucks are still your tag team champions.
Yeah. Do you want to talk
expected.
about the promo later on of the Inner Circle?
Yep. So on Dynamite, we're going to be getting. They announced we're going to be having a war council for the Inner Circle. They need to try and work out where they are. Jericho saying there's going to be some major changes within the Inner Circle, and that things need to change so they can get back on their winning ways. Essentially, and MJF goes, there are some changes to be made.
Yeah, just being very sour, and Jericho not noticing
Jericho not realizing that he's probably talking about Jericho.
Yes.
We'll see. I'm
excited.
I don't know whether we're going to get the turn on Dynamite on Wednesday. I think they're just going to tease it.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to get it just
back. I don't know.
Well, no, I don't think Sammy's going to be back. I think it's more just going to be one of those things where they hype up the group.
They start teasing it,
They start teasing it with them, Jeff and Jericho, but really it's mainly about trying to get the group to be more aggressive or whatever they want to do. And they'll tease the idea of MJF turning on Jericho, but it won't happen just yet. I think it's still
I don't think so.
Too soon. I think they can do more to build it at this point. But yeah, exciting stuff. We got the Tag Team Battle Royale. I'm not going to go through all of the entries in this. There's too many. But we start off with QT Marshall and Dustin Rhodes up against 5 and 10. Dustin and 5 have a nice handshake, but QT Marshall showing his ways in this match.
Yeah.
He goes for a cheap shot onto 10, getting things going. In comes the rest of the world, basically.
5 was the first one getting eliminated.
5 was the first one getting eliminated. But obviously, that doesn't eliminate the team.
Yeah.
The Seidels ended up being the first team properly out, being eliminated by Santana and Ortiz, who were in it very early. They came in about third or fourth. I think they were third, Santana and Ortiz. But sadly, they were eliminated quite early on into the match.
Yeah.
A lot earlier than they probably should have been, but
hey ho.
It's fine. It's fine. I guess it's kind of the idea of you want them to get lost. You want them to be lost in the shuffle so it doesn't feel as big a deal that they lost, hopefully.
Yeah.
It was still a bit of a shame. Bear Country looked really good.
Yeah, they did.
Hadn't seen them before, but obviously they're a dark tag team.
It's really nice to see a different body type for a tag team.
Yeah.
A different style, tag team style, like very bruiserweights, as you said yesterday. Not bruiserweights, but like just bigger guys, strong, very, very strong and dominant guys.
Yeah. No, they looked really good in this match.
Yeah.
They were very, very strong. They kind of had a little thing with the Butcher and the Blade throughout this, which was really nice to see.
It was them that eliminated the Butcher, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
We had Private Party getting into a bit with Dark Order.
Yeah.
10 got eliminated well, they didn't show on camera properly. He was eliminated by Jack Evans.
Yeah.
But we saw Jack Evans for literally about 2 seconds and we didn't see him help with the elimination. But it was because of Jack Evans, again, following on with the Matt Hardy stuff.
Yeah.
We saw Evil Uno. He got Jurassic Express came out.
Yeah.
Marco Stunt was trying to help eliminate Evil Uno. He went for the Hurricane Rana to try and make Uno fall off the ring apron. But instead, he did the Hurricane Rana and Marco came off and then Uno ran across the ring apron and hit his head on the ring post. And I enjoyed his tweet afterwards, which was just saying that the ring was very slippy.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that. But it was a very silly elimination with how that worked out.
Someone was saying on Twitter that they would like that to be featured in the Elite.
In the game.
No, the Elite, the videos they do on YouTube on Mondays.
Elite,
yeah. Just be like a current thing of like just them being silly.
Yeah, well, they do like it's always blamed. You always blame it on Michael Nakazawa.
Yeah,
he's baby oiled something.
Yes,
There was the point. There was a point when Matt Sydal first came in the ring and he went straight up to the top rope and it's like, please.
We
not
were
again,
like,
no.
no. He was fine.
Yes,
He was fine.
But yeah, Jurassic Express go wild in this. We eventually come down to our final four.
Luchasaurus got eliminated by the Bear.
Yes, by Bear Country.
Yeah.
Or was it Butcher and Blade? Or was it Bear Country?
I think it was Bear Country.
Yeah.
I think so. I'm pretty sure.
Can't remember entirely. There was a lot going on in this one.
Yeah.
Before we get to our final four, we need to talk about the storyline moving on in this, even though, who cares? So we, of course, the Nightmare family.
Oh, yeah.
We had Austin Gunn and Colton Gunn. Colton Gunn, who just looks exactly like Billy Gunn. It's very strange. I genuinely thought Billy Gunn was in the ring, but it was Colton. They're trying to eliminate someone. I can't remember entirely who it was. I think it was Uno. Trying to eliminate Uno.
Yeah.
And out from behind, QT Marshall throws them both over the top. And Dustin's like, hey, come on, man. They're both part of the Nightmare family. We're all buddies.
Yeah.
We're all buddies. We're best friends. And then QT goes, nah. Pushes him, jumps over the top rope and leaves. So QT Marshall's heel.
Upset.
I don't care, but
No.
Great, thanks. It's not like QT's ever doing anything.
Yeah.
He might be doing something on Dark, but I don't know. Like, I understand the usefulness of QT in the company. I'm not having any issue with that. He's a very good trainer and everything. We don't really need a storyline with him on TV.
No.
To be honest with you.
It was funny though, him just like going over the ropes and bye-bye.
Yeah, bye. But yeah, we get down to our final four. Pac and Phoenix, the last guys in. They're part of the final four. So it's Pac and Phoenix, Alex Reynolds and John Silver.
Jungle Boy,
and what's the other team? There was another team.
So it was Death Triangle.
Yes.
It was Jurassic Express,
Dark Order,
SCU.
SCU, thank you.
Yeah.
That's the other team. Yes, they said on commentary, which ruined my prediction.
Yeah.
That apparently for this match, because it wasn't a one-on-one tag team match, SCU had decided that they didn't want to do their whole we'll quit as a tag team if we lose this match. So hey ho, that doesn't matter anymore apparently.
Yeah.
But yeah, they get eliminated first off. Alex Reynolds also gets eliminated down to Pac, Jungle Boy, Ray Phoenix, and John Silver.
Yeah. It was nice to have John Silver all the way to the end.
Oh yeah, no, he deserves to be in for that long.
He's so good.
Yeah.
He's really good. And we need Pac and John Silver.
Yeah,
match.
they had a really good face-off in this.
We need a match between them two. They're like the same, but John Silver without hair and shorter. Because their nose and everything, they're just so similar.
I don't entirely agree with you, but I
do.
understand what you mean, but I don't entirely agree with it.
I agree with myself.
But yeah, John Silver gets eliminated by Pac.
Yeah.
And then Pac manages to get knocked over the top by Jungle Boy out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And then we get like a really good ending, like 2 minutes with Jungle Boy and Phoenix.
Which is another match we really need to see.
Yeah.
Like a full-on match. It's really good.
Yeah, it was really fun between these two. They really went at it as you would expect between these two, but then eventually Phoenix manages to get the elimination onto Jungle Boy after a lot of false finishes. And Death Triangle are your new number one contenders for the AEW Tag Team Championships.
We
well
should
done.
have gone with the obvious choice.
Yes, we should have. Yes, that's going to be a great match when these guys go at it.
Yeah.
Young Bucks versus Pac and Ray Phoenix will be really good. We saw how good the matches versus the Lucha Brothers were back in the day. So
Yeah.
I say back in the day, like 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
But that still feels like back in the day. But next up, we had the AEW Women's Championship match. We had Hikaru Shida versus Ryo Mizunami. Mm-hmm. This was fine.
It's a good one.
It was a good match. I just didn't care.
No.
I didn't have any investment in this match, so I struggled to keep my attention.
Yeah. There were a lot of, like, them hitting each other just, like, senselessly, just, like, slapping each other and punching each other.
It's just a real struggle. I struggled with the fact there's no storyline.
Yeah.
And I saw the thing on the pre-show with, like, the whole... and it was in the video package beforehand, the whole...
Yeah.
You'll never beat me in 100 years or whatever thing. But it's like... But the first rule of storytelling really is you have to see it. You can't just tell us that they've got this, like, big rivalry in the past and this whole, like, you'll never beat me in 100 years thing. It's like, we haven't seen this. We haven't shown this on Dynamite. And it's the biggest issue with just the women's division in general is just this whole...
We don't
know these rivalries, especially all the stuff that's like, especially with like the Joshi wrestlers particularly. Mm-hmm. They don't tell us this rivalry.
No.
And even with like the other, like when it's more actually like American wrestlers, like you look at the Abaddon stuff with Shida, that kind of went over like 2 segments, it felt like, and then the storyline was done.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, cool. So you're not actually telling us a story here. You're just going, see, Abaddon. She is strong. She is zombie lady.
She doesn't like
and
Shida.
Then Shida kills her, and it's like, okay, cool.
Yeah,
that's not really a story. They're not very good at doing any kind of stories of their women's divisions, sadly.
Yeah.
But the match comes to an end after, like I said, it's not because this match wasn't good. They did a lot of good in-ring work,
yeah,
but
exactly.
It just wasn't for us personally.
Yeah.
But in the end came with Thomas Shee from Shida. Mizunami manages to get out of it, and then one more, and Shida gets the victory. Post-match, Nyla Rose, Britt Baker, and Reba come out and attack, and Maki Ito, I believe, even though she's not not on the list of things that are in down here, but Maki Ito as well. Essentially, the guys from the pre-show come out and they attack both of the competitors in this match, Rio and Shida. And then out comes Thunder Rosa. Thunder Rosa
kills everyone.
No, she doesn't attack anyone. She just runs out and then everyone runs away.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they all run away when Thunder Rosa comes out and they all retreat. Yeah. And Rosa checks on Shida and Ryo Mizunami. Shida didn't care that Thunder Rosa was there. She completely ignored her. It was quite funny because Thunder Rosa was like trying to give the title belt back to Shida, and Shida just was ignoring her completely. She was too busy dealing with Ryo Mizunami bowing down to her or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was fine.
It was fun.
It was fun. But next up, it's going to be Miro and Kip Sabian versus Orange Cassidy and Chuck Taylor. Before the match starts, we go backstage for a promo from Miro. And this promo is just him attacking. He attacks. Yeah. Miro attacks. Miro is uncaged animal here tonight. He attacks Chuck Taylor. He throws him through the glass in the door.
Yeah.
It was really good. It was a really nice shot they did.
Yeah, and it felt... I think it was real. I'm still not sure about it.
Well, the cut on his arm ended up being real. The cut on his face was nonsense.
Yeah, no, I thought that. But the cut on his arm, it was just bleeding throughout the rest of the match. Yeah. Which was really nasty.
Yeah, the cut on the arm must have got caught.
Yeah.
He must have got caught
Kip
on some loose
grabbed Cassidy and just chucked him over.
No, it was Miro as well. Miro did it as well. Kip got involved, but Miro slammed him onto the box.
Fair.
I'm pretty sure. Miro slammed Cassidy onto the box backstage. Out they came for the match. He tells them to play my music.
Play my music.
I'm the best
man.
I'm the best man.
That
Miro. Then now they come with Chuck Taylor in hand. Or Cassidy stuck backstage. Miro starts to beat up on Chuck inside the ring, and then the referee comes over and is like, look, you need to stop this, and then Miro's like, look, Chuck, I'll give you one last chance. You can end this all now. We can go back to how it was. You can be my butler again. You can be my young boy. And Chuck says, ring the bell. The match starts. Taylor tries to fight, but gets the occasional little shot in.
Yeah.
But Miro really dominant on Chuck, as you'd expect. He tags into Sabian. Sabian kind of goes wild for a bit. Out comes Orange Cassidy, crawls down to the ring.
Barely standing.
Yeah. And Miro's like, oh, come on, I thought this guy was done.
Yeah.
Miro goes to deal with Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy, Superman punch, Orange punch to Miro, which takes him out for a little bit. Cassidy gets into the match, tries to...
gives you a little bit of hope that they're going to win.
Yeah, tries to give it a little hope. Then as soon as Miro's in there with Cassidy again, it all goes downhill for Cassidy.
Yeah.
There's one point where Cassidy ends up... looking to be, he was on the path to doing some really good stuff onto Miro, and it looked like it was going to be victory for Cassidy, but he ends up in the face of Penelope Ford, distracting him, and Miro looks for a second and then decides, I don't care, and he goes and attacks Cassidy, which also attacks Penelope Ford at the same
Penelope
time.
Off the ring.
Yeah, which of course Kip then goes to check on Penelope, and
even though he's meant to be
the legal man. Kip's the legal man. Miro's
man.
not the legal man at this point. And he's just checking on Penelope because obviously he wants to know he wants to check that his wife is okay.
Yes.
I was going to call him his girlfriend, but they're married now.
Wife.
Yes. He kept on destroying him, and then he wrecked Cassidy and forced Kip to give him the tag.
Yeah. So
Taylor came in, and then he whacked in the accolade, the game over.
Yeah.
For the big victory for Miro and Sabian. Pretty good stuff in this one. It's nothing like major. It's kind of something they could have done on Dynamite.
Yeah, I thought
to be honest.
that. Or that it could have been like the pre-show match and then put the pre-show match on the main event.
Yeah. But it's all about giving Miro a bit of a push and showing that he's a force to be reckoned with.
It was really good to actually see him wrestle instead of just doing squash matches.
Yeah.
It was really nice to actually see him do something.
I think it probably would have been more... I think what they should have done, just for the changing things up on the card, is just make this Miro versus Cassidy. I know that forces Cassidy to take the loss, but it's not going to hurt him to take the loss.
Yeah, no.
You can still do exactly the same thing you do. You just do it backstage. You do it with... He takes out Cassidy, destroys Trent, takes Trent down to the ring.
Yeah.
Beats up on Trent until Cassidy comes out. And then Cassidy does the ring the bell spot, essentially.
Yeah.
And you can still have Miro destroy both of them. It doesn't really matter. And still have him knock out Penelope Ford and blah, 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 blah. You can still do exactly the same thing just with the singles match.
Yeah, exactly.
Because there were so many tag matches on this card. It wasn't really necessary. Not that I'm complaining that Kip and Chuck were involved, because they deserve a paycheck as well. So, but they still would have got a paycheck being out on the ringside.
Yeah.
Next up, we had, talking about money and paychecks, we had the big money match, Hangman Page versus Matt Hardy. Again, not necessarily as good as I expected it to be, this one.
It got better as it went along, I think.
Yes. Once we got further in the match, it was a lot of fun. It just... Yeah, I don't really know what it was. I don't know what it was entirely. I just don't think this was the most exciting match. Not that I really like Paige. Obviously, I really like Paige.
I think the
Hardy's
stakes
good.
helped.
Yeah, the stakes helped make this feel like a bigger match than it was. If this was just a straight up singles match.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of like why do we need to be? I like the Hardy stuff, but I feel like why are we using a pay-per-view match for this instead of building someone else up?
Yeah.
I understand that it's a way of building Hangman up without really damaging anyone else, because you ain't damaging Matt Hardy by having him lose to Hangman. But still, Matt Hardy seemed to be about to get Hangman seemed to be about to get the victory. He hit the dead eye onto Matt Hardy. It seemed like it was all going to be over.
Matt Hardy kept working on Hangman Page's arm.
Oh yeah, during the match.
Yeah,
trying to prevent him from being able to hit the buckshot.
Yeah.
But towards the end, Hangman eventually hits the dead eye in the middle of the ring. Out comes Private Party to the outside. They are distracting. They both hop up onto the apron and just kind of stand there to distract Hangman and kind of take him off his guard while Matt Hardy gets back to his feet.
Yeah.
Again, they jump down when Hangman comes near them. They do this again, allowing Matt Hardy to try and hit the Twist of Fate.
We're not doing anything. We're just standing out here.
Which he doesn't end up being able to hit the Twist of Fate. Hangman avoids it, and then they run into the ring. look like they're going to do something, or they don't actually do anything because they don't want to get Matt Hardy DQ'd,
Yeah, exactly.
obviously. But then out comes the Dark Order.
Yay.
For the save, and Hangman ends up hitting the buckshot lariat for the 1, 2, 3, and they all hug it out to end it.
Yeah. Hangman Adam Page has friends.
But this is the way to do it. You should do it this way because it's Hangman not joining the group, but he's associated.
They're friends.
He's associated. They've got each other's back.
Exactly.
That's kind of what it should be.
Exactly.
He doesn't need to be an official member of the Dark Order.
Yeah. He's just
for all
a
of that
friend
stuff
of them.
to work. But yeah, again, similar to the Shida match. It was a good match. It just kind of, obviously this one did have good stakes to it.
Yeah.
But it was just a little bit.
It got better as it went along.
Not as good as other typical AEW pay-per-view matches, per se.
Yeah.
Next up, we got the face of the Revolution, the ladder match for a future TNT Championship opportunity, which as soon as we found out this opportunity was going to be on Wednesday, I got very excited that perhaps my pick was going to be correct because none of these other guys were... I didn't see any of these other guys getting a title match on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Because you kind of want to build to all these other matches. They're kind of a lot bigger.
Mm-hmm.
So we have everyone come out. We get our mystery person coming down, which is All Ego Ethan Page.
Welcome to the AEW.
Yep, who was officially signed with AEW. I thought he looked really good in this match.
Yeah, I did.
I'm excited to see him. He looks great. He's got a great look to him.
Yeah, he does.
He just looks like you want to punch him.
Yes.
100%. He just looks like you want to punch him. I haven't particularly seen that much of Ethan Page. I don't watch Impact. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing him full-time in AEW, and he is a very creative person, so hopefully that should be fun. But do some stuff with Darby, because I know obviously he was in this match, but they're both very creative people. And we'll talk about Darby's creatism later, but they're both very creative people. Put them together. Do something with those two. That'd be a lot of fun. I know obviously that's what this match was, but a bigger feud.
Yes, exactly. Not just because of the TNT Championship.
Yeah, give Ethan some wins first and then eventually get to that point. But yeah, so the story of this match was all about Cody's arm, pretty much. The beginning of this match, Lance Archer was kind of just wrecking stuff. He was kind of running around just destroying everyone. We got a spot where out came Jack Evans again it's
the boombox.
Yeah.
The silly boombox.
I don't really know why he came out with the boombox. It's not like he has any particular connection to Max Caster in terms of like a friendship.
Max Caster did come out with a boombox.
Yeah.
Boombox, I think. No,
I don't know. I don't remember.
I don't know.
I think he just came out with his headphones and mic.
Yes.
He didn't come out with it. But then out came Jack Evans with the boombox. And then out came 10 to be like, hey, no. You hit me with boombox. You don't hit other people with boombox. And
they still managed to keep the boombox with himself.
But then Max Caster ends up with the boombox and used it during the match. But I just don't understand why they needed this little spot here. It was a bit random.
Silly.
Because I know they want to give like a bit of shine to 10, I guess. But
still.
He didn't need that. And Jack Evans, there's no pre-existing relationship between Jack Evans and Max Caster.
Yeah.
It was just that Jack Evans was being paid to attack 10.
Yeah.
So why on earth would he want to be out here for this match? But hey ho, whatever. Where things really took a change, where Penta ended up getting out. There was a ladder bridge from the ring to the outside, and Penta does a Canadian destroyer on the ladder onto Cody Rhodes, which destroys Cody's arm. Yeah. Cody is taken out. He's unable to compete further in the match, and he stands up. He's in the entranceway, in the circle, whatever it's called.
Thingy.
Yeah. And like I know
the entrance bit.
Yeah. And so just because I feel like I should explain why I'm okay with this, but I'm not okay with what like Randy Orton did at the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
So I feel like the Cody thing didn't take me away from the match.
It's because he was in the background instead of like them changing the cameras over to Cody like they did with Randy. They kept changing to Randy and then coming back to the match, distracting you from the match. This way you still had Cody in the back.
Yeah, you could see him in the background. He wasn't taking away from the action going on. You weren't completely just changing over to Randy Orton.
You knew he was there. They didn't need to keep going with the cameras back and forth.
If you wanted to look at it, you could do. If you didn't, you could clearly pay attention to what's going on in the ring. And yeah, I know it's the same general spot, but I found it much more interesting. It's the idea that he's not just been killed.
Yeah.
He's still able to walk around and stuff. His arm's completely screwed up. They're just checking on his arm. It's a different idea. And like, this was how it was done in WWE in terms of someone was taken away and not pretending the idea of like, oh, well, they're going to come back, so we have to get rid of them completely so they leave your mind. At least Cody was an ever presence there.
Yeah.
Like, it was obvious he was going to come back later in the match, and at least he was still there.
Yeah.
Which is why I didn't mind it as much compared to like a WWE version of this. And like, but like if they'd carded Cody off backstage and stuff, I wouldn't have been overly happy with how it went. But I liked the way it was done. Max Cassidy used his boombox to go and whack everyone. Whack, 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 whack.
Quack, quack, quack. Quack.
Archer hits Scorpio Sky with a blackout through a ladder on the outside, which killed Sky for like 90% of this match. We didn't talk about the fact that it was a blooming brass ring.
Yes.
It was a blooming...
It was a Sonic
the Hedgehog ring. But it was dumb because it was just...
massive.
It shouldn't have been done that way. Like, you could have done anything else. You didn't need to go, they always talk about in WWE, if you don't grab that brass ring, then you're not going to get a good position. Yeah. Oh, we'll play on this by having a brass ring above the ring. Why? It's dumb, and it's just... I know it's what AEW does. You kind of have to get used to it.
Yeah.
But they don't need to poke so much at WWE. They really don't.
Like, it was funny. Like, it looked a lot like Sonic the Hedgehog, which was really funny.
It also looked like a
silly.
A swimming aid.
Yeah, exactly.
It was just dumb. Why not just have a contract?
Yeah.
Like, I know it's not double or nothing, but I liked when they had the chip up there last year. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Why not? I know it's like you can't have a briefcase, but you could just have a contract.
Yeah, exactly.
You'd have the contract up there, you get the contract down, and then the closing images, you can sign the contract.
Yeah.
I know they did that with Christian later on, essentially, but
still,
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Eventually, Cody Rhodes makes his way back in this ending segment of the match. Mm-hmm. Essentially, this would just... two people would climb the ladder, they'd get knocked off, another two people go up the ladder. So... Cody makes his way up. And whenever Cody gets up, his arm just gets worked on. Yeah. Pentagon smashes his arm with a chair, lots of stuff like that, and keep knocking him off. Ethan Page ends up taken down. Lance Archer's up there by himself. It looks like he's about to have it won. Yeah. Ethan Page runs to the ladder and tries to knock him off. At which point Lance is like, "Little man, you dare attack me!" And he climbs on down.
He doesn't even move.
Yeah,
and then he just looks back, being like, "I can't believe you did just that. You just did that."
And this was super cool. So he hits him with a low blow on the ladder, and then he manages to hit a razor's edge onto Lance Archer, which is ridiculous strength to be able to do that, which is super impressive. It surprised me that he was strong enough to do that per se. It was really cool.
Yeah.
But then in comes Jake Roberts. Jake Roberts hits his little short arm lariat to Ethan Page. And then he eats a super kick from Pentagon Jr.
And he actually hits the ring mat, which is like...
He took a bump, essentially, which is like, okay.
Okay, sure.
Sure.
And then he just sits in the corner of the ring, just looking very sad for the rest of the match.
Yeah. So then it all comes down to Cody ends up climbing up the ladder. Lucha Bro, Pentagon Jr. He ends up hitting Cody with the chair again to the arm, but Sky comes back into the ring, hitting the chair onto Pentagon. Then it's Sky and Cody just on the ladder by themselves, but Sky takes advantage of the arm of Cody, hits it against the ladder a few times, and then they have a few words to each other on the top of the ladder, and then he throws Cody off. Yeah. And Scorpio Sky is your winner and gets a championship match this Wednesday on Dynamite. It's kind of a shame that the match that they're getting the match is going to be so soon.
Yeah.
Because what I was talking about in predictions was the idea of the face of the Revolution being essentially a gimmick change for Scorpio Sky, which I hope they still do. I think he really needs that. Like, he's a very talented man. He just needs that the right thing behind him. Yeah, he needs to not be lost in the shuffle so much and not be the because for ages he was like the king of dark.
Yeah.
Which is great. And it's a good thing to get loads of wins, but that doesn't help. Like the average
not
viewer
TV.
doesn't watch Dark.
Yeah.
Right. Let's be real. Like 90% of the viewers don't watch Dark.
Yeah.
And of those 10% who do watch Dark, I doubt they watch the entire 2 hours of Dark. But yeah, I'm excited to see what happens on Wednesday with the Scorpio Sky Darby Allin match.
Yeah.
Don't expect Scorpio to win, but
No.
you never know. Brian Cage and Ricky Starks might come back with a vengeance. But yeah, I don't think they should take that belt off Darby, especially after this match here. Brian Cage and Ricky Starks versus Sting and Darby Allin. The
Street fight.
Oh, I apologise. No, before this went down, we did have the announcement of the Hall of Fame worthy signing to AEW. So they do a countdown: 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2,
You're actually
1.
doing it.
Christian Cage. And out comes Christian Cage with his old TNA music, which I didn't realise. So I guess that either he owned the music already, or Tony Khan brought the TNA music for him. Out comes Christian Cage.
What does it say?
Outwork everyone.
Yeah.
Everybody. And yeah, I'm
happy. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. It's exciting.
Yeah.
Another issue with AEW is Tony Khan overhypes things way too much.
Yes.
Like he overhyped this, and there was that week of Dynamite where he was like, "You need to watch this episode of Dynamite. It's going to change they're trying to change how everything's going to be seen in wrestling for the future going forward." And yeah, it did happen in a few weeks because you had the Kenda stuff in a few weeks, but he said it like 3 weeks early.
Way too early.
So that everyone just got really excited for this one episode of Dynamite where nothing happened.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. It was silly, but I'm excited for Christian.
Yeah.
I think he's going to do good work, and like we've seen he can still go. We saw him in the Royal Rumble literally like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
And Christian,
he looks great.
he looks really good.
So good.
And he wants to be able to wrestle regularly.
Yeah.
Which is why he wants to be with AEW. He wants to wrestle regularly. WWE didn't offer him a contract apparently, and he wants to wrestle regularly. So he phoned up his old friend Tony Khan, because apparently they're good friends according to the media call afterwards. And Christian, it wasn't even Tony Khan reaching out to Christian; it was Christian reaching out to Khan. Tony Khan didn't even just assumed that Christian had been signed to a contract
Fair.
because of the big pop that Christian had got at the Royal Rumble and how that went. And yeah, it's a very, I think it's a mistake on WWE's part to not capitalize on Christian, but they probably
having
weren't.
Edge and everything.
Yeah, they probably weren't going to use him though, were they? Let's be
exactly.
real. It's just it's just a shame, I guess, for them. But excited for Christian Cage. Hopefully we'll have some good, exciting matches going forwards.
Yeah.
So we need to have now Brian Cage and Christian Cage versus Hangman Page and Ethan Page with Diamond Dallas Page as the manager.
Yes.
That's what we need to have.
I kept thinking that yesterday. Yesterday, as in when the revolution happened.
Well, it was technically yesterday.
Yeah.
And so now we move on to the penultimate match of the night, the cinematic match, Darby Allin and Sting versus Brian Cage and Ricky Stark. I thought this is probably...
I still can't believe what happened. It was so good.
Yeah, it's great. It was really great. I think this was, like... I know it's been a long time. I haven't watched the Boneyard match or the Firefly Funhouse match for a long old time. But this is like up there, my favourite cinematic matches with those two.
In terms of actual production value, in terms of like all the, not special effects, but like the camera angles and all of the camera work.
The direction for this was beautiful.
The direction is absolutely incredible compared to the other two matches. I know like the Boneyard and the Firefly match, they're both like really good. But I feel like this...
They're not as daring in terms of their actual...
In terms of camera action and stuff.
Yeah, in terms of the direction
and
of it.
having the announce table... The announce table?
The announcers.
Yeah. Just
having commentary going really helps.
Having commentary going really helps as well, because instead of just being like the awkward silence with a little bit of music under it.
Yeah, especially with Taz there, because obviously Taz being the manager for Cage and Starks.
Being very upset and all that. No, it was
and teasing no, it's not going well, but we got our plan coming up, and that's a dreadful impression. It wasn't an impression, it was just an American accent.
But yeah, no, it was so good. So
really
good.
enjoyed it. We got entrances for both of them. We saw Brian Cage and Ricky Starks get into their sports car. The
And just,
camera
like, a
goes
camera
overhead, almost like a video game perspective of it.
going like through the car as well,
Yeah.
like into the car and out the car. It was really good. It looked like a video clip at the beginning.
Yeah.
It goes on throughout the entire match, the entire segment.
Yeah.
But I feel like at the very beginning, I was like, what the hell is this? It looks like a frigging video clip, like the start of a street video clip.
Yeah, it was very cool. We see Sting, Darby Allin skateboarding throughout the town, doing lots of tricks and stuff, and lots of cool camera angles and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And we should mention that Darby Allin, 90% of this was Darby's baby, apparently.
Yeah.
According to what was said afterwards in the media calls.
Yeah. So cool.
And he was super proud of this. He dropped out of film school. But,
Yeah, exactly. Apparently, he went to film school.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah.
But like you see all the stuff he does. He's a great filmmaker. You can't deny his filmmaking prowess.
And like whilst Darby music is playing, like they're on TVs, like old TVs and stuff like that.
Yeah. He ends up reaching out with Sting, and they drive in together.
Yeah.
And then we get into this warehouse. Starks and Cage are in the ring, and it's the warehouse where they were smashing the windows before.
Yeah.
And in comes an entire army of Sting wearing mask people. And
Sting mask wearing people.
whatever. And then out comes Sting and Darby. Both of them have half and half face paints, half Darby, half Sting, which on Sting's face looked really, really weird.
It was odd. And it was
very
weird
strange.
as well to see Darby with his full face.
Yes. Yeah, I
makeup.
didn't mind it as much with
I didn't
Darby.
mind it, no, but
with
it was
Sting, it was
odd.
really weird.
Yeah.
It was really weird. It's just because you have such an idea of what Sting's face looks
exactly.
like. It's just very strange to see that weird mix.
Like one half of it just like very white and then with just a little bit of paint by the mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was odd.
But it doesn't matter because at the end they were all just like grey faces.
Yeah. And yeah, I think this match did a really good job of making Team Taz not look like idiots.
Yes.
Like, I think this
100%.
really made them look good.
A lot
they
of
were
throwing
really great.
people at walls and Darby climbing one of the poles and just jumping on Starks.
Yeah, so we'll go through it. They kind of split up at the beginning. We had a ring. We kind of split up at the beginning with Cage and Darby going at it, and Sting and Starks. Darby and Cage ended up going all the way to the back of this warehouse, and then Cage picked up Darby and threw him through the doors of the stairwell. Sting and Ricky Stark started going at it until Sting ended up getting his baseball bat, and Ricky was like, you're nothing without that baseball bat. You can't beat me without a baseball bat, essentially.
Yeah.
And then Sting's like, okay.
He
tosses
throws
it
it
up,
to the
which lands on
top
the
floor.
upper floor. And then those two go at it for a bit.
You go back to Cage and Cage is lifting Darby in a vertical, like
In a vertical suplex.
yeah, exactly,
And he's
and just
walking
going up the stairs with Allin.
Just walks upstairs like he's nothing, and then he just like sees the bin, then he's like, okay, cool, and drop on the bin.
It's so cool.
The bin full of things.
Such an incredible shot.
Yeah. They get upstairs, and then out comes Powerhouse Hobbs wearing a mask for no reason. I don't know
Yeah.
why he was wearing a mask. He was very clearly
It's
Powerhouse
very
Hobbs.
obvious.
It's like, who else is this going
who's
to
gonna
be?
who
why
else
is-
is going to be on Cage's and Stark's
Yeah.
side?
And why was it a bright orange mask as well?
Yeah,
Out came Hook as well. Hook
with no mask.
with no mask. Yeah, he didn't need a mask, apparently. Apparently, we don't know Hook well enough to be. It's like Darby would be like, who's that? I don't know who that is. Out comes Hook, who looks great without a top on.
Yeah.
Which is a very weird thing to say. But he has a very well-toned body, which I didn't realise he did. He doesn't look like it in just his regular clothes
Yeah,
that he
he
wears
looks
down
like
to
a
the
skinny
ring.
boy.
Yeah, he does. They end up chucking Darby Allin through a window.
Yeah,
But
just
not
doing
like-
like the rucksack you do with kids, where one person holds the feet, the other person
Yeah.
holds the arms, and they just
And they swing him back and
them
forwards. And
into
then,
the pool.
Yeah.
But instead of that, they just put him through a pane of windows, and
Yeah.
it's disgusting.
Yeah. So this, just to clarify, this isn't like a window out of anywhere. This is just, there was just a window in the room for some reason
Yeah.
that they could throw them through. Throws them through the window, smashes the glass, and then the top of the thing just boops down onto his head.
Smashes on his head as
It's
well.
like, ow, that looks
Yeah.
painful.
And he was out of action for a second.
Yeah, at which point everyone goes after Sting downstairs
Mm-hmm.
instead. And then you see Darby starting to get to his feet, picks up the baseball bat, throws the bat down to Sting downstairs. Sting starts wrecking people. Baseball bat, baseball bat, baseball bat, baseball bat.
And it breaks.
And then it breaks over Brian Cage's back. And Brian Cage ends up rolling. So there was this so there was a massive hole in the middle of this room.
Yeah.
And then there was like a thing, like a platform between the two of them.
-1 floor, let's say.
Yeah, but then there was a platform over this hole, essentially.
Yeah.
So Cage ends up on top of that. You see Darby upstairs standing by an open window. He jumps off the top.
He just he
prays. He does the cross.
He just does the cross on him, and then he just jumps off.
Yeah. And
an elbow drop.
Yep, huge
He
elbow
fell
drop.
2 floors down, which is insane.
Yeah.
It is crazy.
It was,
brutal.
It was insane that he did that. It's wild, absolutely wild. And obviously that means these two are now out.
Yeah.
We get back in the ring. Sting ends up with Starks. Looks for the Stinger splash, but Starks moves. And then eventually Sting gets the Scorpion Death Drop for the victory, meaning the Sting and Darby get the big victory here tonight.
And you get a big close-up shot of Sting's face, completely grey. So good.
This was great. It's really great. I guess if you had an issue with this, you could say the issue is how did Starks end up losing to a Scorpion Death Drop after all of that? But you could just say, well, there was a lot of damage done during the match.
Yeah, exactly.
That was the only complaint I really saw. And people who just don't like cinematic matches. But I love this.
So good.
It was just really good.
So good.
Super good. But now for our main event of the night, the Exploding Barbed Wire Death Match for the AEW World Championship. Out comes Jon Moxley with a very nice custom leather jacket with Mox on the back of it. Looking very suave, but clearly concerned.
Very good for a death match.
Yes.
For a barbed wire death match.
Clearly very, very concerned. He has a flask with him. Takes a shot of Jack Daniels before the match starts.
Yes. Doing the cross again.
Yeah.
Just praying and stuff. And yeah.
Yeah. So, and then out comes...
A very long ass entrance.
It was long. And then out comes Kenny and both of them in vests and jeans. My thing was why didn't you cover your arms, you silly boys? Silly boys, cover your arms.
And then you look at the ref.
And the ref
he's wearing a pandemic suit.
He's in a hazmat suit, essentially.
Basically, wearing the face visor and everything. But apparently, they covered him with
flame retardant
fluid and everything he was wearing was very fireproof in case something happened.
Yes.
Apparently his wife was very worried about it. Yeah. And
As
he was I never did something like this, but hey ho.
Yeah,
Here I am.
Let's go. So the beginning of this match kind of starts off with just essentially trying to throw each other into the barbed wire, trying to get the first spot. It doesn't end up happening very early on. Moxley ends up leaving the ring, there's a trash can of weapons to the outside, which Moxley goes to go and get, including a chair, a barbed wire chair, and a barbed wire baseball bat.
A lot of barbed wire on that chair.
Yes. I forgot when he was first to go into the barbed wire. Was it Moxley?
It was Moxley. He hit his back on the ropes that are closer to the audience.
Yeah, so Mox ends up being caught into the ropes first, the first explosion of the match. And the explosions at this point look quite good,
They look really good.
They look good. I liked all of this stuff.
Yeah.
And they really went at it. Moxley at this point was bleeding very badly already.
Because he went onto the trash can.
Yeah.
Because Kenny dropped him on the trash can, and then suddenly you look at him and his face is already covered in blood.
Yes.
And when I say covered in blood, as in end of match covered in blood.
Yeah. If you think back to Dustin and Cody,
yeah, exactly.
it's that
end
much
of
blood.
match.
Yeah.
Blood.
Kenny went for a moonsault, which was very insane. He was like, I can't touch the barbed wire, but I'm going to try and do a moonsault here. He manages to do it. He gets a moonsault. Lots of almost hitting the rings. Eventually, Kenny gets thrown into the rings, into the ropes face first, which kind of blinds him for a second.
Oh yeah, one of the points that Omega had some powder dust inside his pocket.
Yeah, so Omega
threw.
Yeah, earlier in the match when Moxley was using all the weapons, Omega threw white powder into the eyes of Moxley to blind him, which is then why Moxley went into the barbed wire. There was another one where Kenny managed to throw Moxley into the the barbed wire, but Kenny didn't think it through because he was going into it face first as well.
Yes.
Which then knocked him silly. At this point, that was enough to get rid of all the barbed wire, all the explosives on one side of the ring.
Yeah.
So they ended up going outside to this, like, they had, on each side of the ring, they had a little wooden platform with barbed wire on top of it.
And with explosives around it.
Yeah. So Jon Moxley ends up being able to hit a paradigm shift onto this.
Silly boy,
mainly hurting himself a lot more than he does Kenny.
Oh yeah, inside the ring before that, like they have these boards full of barbed wire.
Oh goodness, I forgot about those.
Where Moxley gets thrown into one of them first, and he just gets caught between the broken piece on the floor and the broken piece on top of him, and you see him trying to get up. And his jeans, his shirt, his skin, getting attached to it, and then the same with Omega.
Yeah, bleh. But Moxley got it a lot worse than Omega did.
Yes. Blah, blah, blah. It was really bad.
Yeah,
yeah. When he falls on the floor, like he just like takes ages to get out of the frigging.
Yeah, it takes him a long time to get out of it. During this time, Kenny is now bleeding from the head. They get back in the ring. Omega ends up they go back and forward for a bit. They get the first of the countdown noises because at 30 minutes, all the explosions are going to go off. It's going to be like a bomb after 30 minutes. So they get the first noise, which is saying that it's 20 minutes, essentially. Yeah. It's been 20 minutes in the match. At which point it's like, oh no, we need to get this done. Yeah. They go at it very quickly, but Omega manages to get Moxley up for the one-winged angel. 1, 2, Moxley gets his foot on the barbed wire, causing the explosion, which then makes Kenny have to go off the pinfall.
It was really cool.
It's a brilliant way to like keep the match going and still protect the one-winged angel. It was such a clever
obviously
spot.
He doesn't kick out of the one-winged angel because no one does. The only thing he did was put his foot on the rope. His foot on the ropes to cause the explosion. It was such a clever spot, that one. Out came the Good Brothers, who ended up starting beating up on Moxley, gave Kenny Omega this special baseball bat, which is absolutely covered in wire. The Mox
Destroyer or whatever.
Something like that.
Yeah, which was a exploding baseball bat. So they had an explosion inside of the barbed wire.
Exploding barbed wire bat.
Yeah.
I can't say it.
Hits Moxley in the gut with it, explodes. Moxley's completely thrown. And then the match finishes with Kenny delivering a brutal one-winged angel onto a chair in the middle of the ring that was sat in a sitting position. And then 1, 2, 3. After the match. So the match, up until this point,
it was incredible.
Great match. Really enjoyed this match. Really enjoyed it. And I can't compare. I was going to say it was better than the one they had last year, but I can't remember it well enough to say. I'd have to rewatch it.
Yeah, no, I think last year's one was because of like all the table off.
I think just because last year's one was more creative.
Yeah, going backstage and doing like all of those stuff.
Yeah, there was more stuff they could do. Can they have the tags?
The barbed wire.
The mousetraps.
The barbed wire bed.
Yeah, there was so much more. There was a lot of stuff in that one.
Yeah.
I'd have to rewatch it, to be honest.
So good.
But after the match, Omega and the Good Brothers, they know the countdown is coming and they want to kill Jon Moxley, is what they want to do. So they handcuff him in the middle of the ring after beating him down. Jon Moxley can't get out. The timer is going down. The time is going down for the 30-minute explosions. Because for some reason, even though the match is over, the explosions are still going to happen.
Yeah, just Omega didn't turn off the explosions anyway. So it starts like this siren, like proper like when you see in the films when you have like a massive like nuclear explosion or something and you have the woo.
Yeah. But the countdown clock starts playing. We have 1 minute left. Kenny and Good Brothers like, no, we need to get out of here. We need to get out of here. Get out. They end up getting out. There's about 30 seconds left. Out runs Eddie Kingston and the Butcher and the Blades and Ali. And Eddie runs in the ring. He wants to save his friend. He can't get him up.
He's trying to talk with Moxley, but he's just not responding because he's been beat up and he's handcuffed. So Eddie
he's handcuffed. He can't get him up. He can't get him out of the ring. So Eddie decides there's only 5 seconds left. So he decides to cover Jon Moxley with his own body to protect Moxley's face.
Which was so emotional.
Like I was like genuinely emotional during this. And this was such a good idea.
Yeah.
It was such a good idea. It makes perfect sense. And like Kingston protecting Moxley.
Yeah.
It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. But then 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
And that
The
was
most pathetic explosion.
It was so bad.
It was just sprinklers and then just a little puff.
Yeah.
It's pathetic.
It was like the fireworks, the entrance fireworks that
Cody has.
Cody
is so much
has,
bigger.
but worse, much worse, just on the ring poles, and then 3 or 4 explosions outside of the ring. Like, even during the actual match, the noise of the explosions. I know the explosions was just like fake duds, but still, the noise they did were much worse than
completely.
The end.
100%. All you really needed was smoke. That's all you needed was smoke to cover up. That's all you need. You just needed noise, a little bit of light, and smoke.
Yeah.
That's all that was needed.
Even if you did it on the actual stage, like by the entrance where Cody Rhodes usually has it, like just getting extra pyro.
Oh, using the
into
smoke
it.
from the stage.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And just getting like more pyro from the stage itself.
Yeah. And
It would help.
And we were talking yesterday about the idea of like that they should have like actually had it so how the ring collapses.
Yeah.
Because they do all the time in WWE.
That would have helped as well, just like the ring collapsing.
It just gives more of an effect to it.
Yeah.
And so Eddie Kingston and John Moxley are dead. That's how the show goes off the air.
Like the refs come all out, and like all
commentaries.
the medical team come out, and like Eddie Kingston's just not moving. They have to like push him off of Moxley and stuff like that. But it's like after that explosion, it's just not believable.
Yeah, and commentary really is trying to sell this.
Yeah.
And
I think like because Eddie had his face covered, he couldn't see it, so he doesn't really know.
Yeah, they both had their face covered, so they don't know what happened.
But
so they can't make a thing, but So the idea behind this, the way they're trying to cover this up, is that Kenny doesn't know how to build a bomb.
Yeah.
Which is fine. But then why are you selling them? Why did you sell it like it was a bomb?
Yeah.
Like
it
doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to do it like that. And it comes across sour to me because it's like you very clearly there's something you very clearly messed up.
Or you messed up and you just didn't
care. You could have like you had all those referees come down.
Mm-hmm.
Why couldn't you have one of those referees go, hey, look, Moxley, Eddie, you can sell the psychological aspect of this, but Eddie, you're fine.
You were actually fine. Like,
you're 100% fine. There was no bomb.
Like,
just be checking on Moxley and be worried about Moxley.
Yeah, just do like a breath of relief. Just do like it wasn't bad. Like just have the refs whisper at his ear, being
they could have done
it was
anything.
actually like not a big explosion, so don't sell as if you knocked out.
Yeah, it's silly. And I know it's not entirely their fault. I assume it was a misfire or whatever.
Exactly.
And they probably couldn't have had that much. They wouldn't have had that much explosive anyway because they only have limitations on how much they can use and blah, 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 blah. But still, it was just a bit... It was a real whimper to end the show on, sadly.
Yeah.
But it's fine. We'll see where they go on Wednesday.
It was really good. Don't watch the last minute.
Yeah, just pretend that when the countdown goes to 0, just pretend the entire thing, the entire
arena is just on fire.
Arena is just plunged into darkness, and it's the end of the show.
Yeah.
That probably would have been a better ending.
They could have done a blackout and just have like pyro or something.
Yeah. Or the other thing was you just didn't do this match in front of a crowd, and then you could have done whatever you wanted, and you could have played around with it and done special effects and nonsense and made it look good. But it's fine. Whatever.
Hey-ho.
Whatever. Anyway, that is all for our review of Revolution. Thank you very much for watching, and we will see you. It's on YouTube.
Thank you very much for listening.
Watching or listening, whatever you're doing, keep on doing it. Thank you very much, and we'll see you
next time.